Alrighty guys, so we are going to install the Transformer Generation 1. They call it a shift kit, but it does a little bit more than that. Now to install this, it looks fairly simple and straightforward. You just have to remove this lower kick panel here and then plug in. There's 8 wires that need to be plugged in, and the instructions are, I have them on the laptop, and it's pretty straightforward install. The instructions are very clear, very concise on where you plug what wire into what connector, so it shouldn't be that difficult to install it, but I'll give you a couple little pointers when we're actually installing this. So let's get started installing the old transformer into the car. Alright, so to get this panel off here, we just have to remove this plate here. Just covering screw, you just want to pull out on it. There are little clips in the back of it. Just want to pull out on those, and there those clips are, one there and one there. With that cover removed, you have access to this screw here. Looks like somebody was already in here and tightened that down a little bit too tight. There's one screw here. It's just a Phillips head screw. Take that, put that out of the way. And then there's another screw here underneath kick panel, but this one's already missing. Looks like I said, I think somebody was in here before. But once those 2 screws are removed, I believe you just pull out on this. Straight out and down. And once that's down, again, there's a couple clips that hold that in there, so just pull it straight out. And then just this trunk release plug here, we just want to unplug this real quick, and that just unplugs like a plug. Just pull up on this. Alright, so to undo this here, we just want to pull up on that clip, and that should slide out. And then we'll just let this hang down. It'll just hang down there. Then we have to remove these 4 bolts. So those are a 10mm size bolt. We'll just take those out. We're going to need access to, I believe, this connector here, as well as these plugs here. Now these are for your TCM, so these are the 2 plugs you need. This one's the 2 wire they refer to. So the wire we're going to be tapping off of, I believe, is this orange and black right here. So they call it a black with an orange tracer because a majority of the plug is black, but it has this fine little orange stripe down it. So that would be called a black with an orange tracer. Then they want you to take this covering off. So in order to take that covering off, it's just as simple as, I believe we're gonna have to undo a little bit of that tape, and then we'll be able to take that covering off. I just took this electrical tape off of around here, and once you get that electrical tape off, you can just slide that cover off. Now I don't know if it's broken and that's why it slid so easily, but you can just slide that right off of there. And again, it's numbered even better on this side here. Again, there's the top side numbers, and here are the bottom side numbers. These are the ones that you're going to be worried about right here. So you just go through, and on the laptop it's going to tell you exactly what number you need to clip off on, the actual pin you need to clip off on that number. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to go into the laptop, fire it up, and figure out exactly which wires I need to pin off of here, as well as which wires I need to pin off of here. So if you want to make quick work of electrical tape, you can get a seam ripper. I got this at Walmart in the sewing section or fabric section, wherever. Just ask for a seam ripper. It's got this cool little like wax or something built ball here, and what it does is works really good for wiring and getting this loom or electrical tape off. You just run it up through. The inside is sharp as a razor, and then this part protects the wire from getting cut as you go up through. So instead of using a razor blade and potentially slicing a wire, you can use a seam ripper and pull that right off of there. It makes quick work of it, and then you don't end up damaging your wires when you're going up through. So just a quick little tip there. They're using these, they're called T-taps, and they basically pinch the wire and they slice the wire a little bit, and then this metal contact actually makes a good connection with the wire. A lot of people don't like these, myself included, but I don't have a better way of doing this. I do not recommend that you solder the wires in place. And the only reason I don't recommend soldering the wires is because what you'll end up doing is adding too much resistance to the line, especially if you're not that good at soldering. And with that added resistance, this transformer actually will probably end up not working, or you could actually end up messing up your TCM or another component in your car. So use these, they will work. The best method would be to actually get a crimp, where it actually just crimps the wire as well as the wire that you're hooking up to. Just crimps them and clamps them in place onto the wire. That would be the best way to do this, but since I don't have those, these will work. Alrighty guys, so one thing to note when you're hooking up these CAN wires, the CAN bus, you want to keep them twisted. It doesn't really mention that in there, but they're twisted for a reason. It cuts down on interference. So keep them twisted here where they hook into them, and also keep them twisted here where you have them wired up. Just keep them twisted together, and again, that just cuts down on the interference between other wires on the circuit. Alright guys, moment of truth. So to finalize this, what we're going to do is start the car up, and I should start the car, and it should blink red, green for 5 seconds, and then it'll blink green. All right, once it blinks green, then I'll put the car in drive, and the LED, it says should blink red. So, and then to test the function, I should then turn off and on the transformer's shift strength function, and that's just by pressing the ESP button here twice within 2 seconds. And then I should hear a beep when turning it off, and then I should hear a beep when turning it on, and that verifies that my CAN bus connections are good and making a good connection. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, with the car running, I'm going to put it into auto stick. I'm just going to shift it down into drive and put it over into first gear. And with my foot on the brake, I'm just going to pull the cruise stalk towards me. And I should hear the ABS pump kick on because that's putting it in burnout mode. If it works, that means that the CAN bus C lines are connected correctly. And as long as all that functions, that means that this is wired properly, and I can then button everything back up. So we're just going to start it up. And I got enough. That's how that goes. Alrighty guys, I have no shame, so I always learn new things, and this one here was kind of nothing new, but when I put this connector in here, the ground wire, I had this pin off to the side, smushed between the side and the actual connector. So it's going to plug that in and then round two. So for 5 seconds, now it's blinking. Now we're doing what we need to do. Off. So now let me go back up to the top here. Test. So I'll put it in gear and it flashes red. Now push this twice. So TZF off, TZF on, TZF off. Good, so that works. Now what I'm going to do is, since I know that works, I am going to put it in gear, over into 1. Then I'm just going to pull in, and that's burnout mode there. So it's going to throw some ABS lights because you did that, but that works good. So keeping things simple, just a piece of Velcro. Just Velcro that on to that metal plate. Probably cut my seat, you know. Then that plate will sit up here, nice and tucked up out of the way. And then that'll plug in nice and neat. And then I'll just run this wire out, because you can hook it up to the laptop for some tuning. So I will run that wire just out and it'll be accessible. So yeah, that's just quick and simple. Put that in there, and then that's out of the way. After I put the cover on, when I routed the wire, I just routed it right out where the hood release goes. So then all I got to do is just push that up in there. If I need to access it, it's quick and easy. It's out of the way. But let's be honest, guys. The real reason you get this is because you want to do a burnout. See how line lock works. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Oh, suck.
Ooh-wee. We gotta let the smoke out. Ooh-wee.
Oh, we're letting the smoke in.
Oh my.
Ow.
That was a good one.
Oh.
Woo-wee. was a little extreme.